Sure, yeah, it's in its 38th year. It was started as a birthday party for Michael Gonzalez. He was a local mime back in the mid-70s and would throw these awesome birthday parties, and they would come out and kind of take over the streets and have big parties that were not sanctioned by the city. And then years later they started allowing a parade, and then it evolved into a festival at the park at Alameda on Saturday. Then we'll see, 5 years ago we added a Friday night, and then last year we added Sunday. So it's a 3-day festival, largest attended one-day event in Santa Barbara. So it's pretty big thing for the city.
And then it's kind of evolved into this festival where it's 3 days now of music and food and what have you up at Alameda Park. And then there's the parade up State Street now.
They didn't even have a permit. They just went up the sidewalk. And it really caught on, so a lot of artistic and creative people joined him the next few years, and it just grew from there until now it's a big parade of like really fun, artistic, creative stuff.
The permit gave us two of our main rules, which is no written words and no recognizable symbols, because of course the city was a little afraid that maybe it would be a protest, but it wasn't. It was a celebration of creativity, and then people brought instruments, and it's grown since then. And then it changed from May 1st to the Summer Solstice, or the nearest day to the Summer Solstice, and now it's grown into the parade, a community art event, and then a 3-day festival.
Since then, just more and more people jumped in. When my son was 8, I think, we always went to watch the parade, and the parade goes by, and he looks over at me and he goes, "Why can't we do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, why can't we do that?" And so the next year we came down, and it's open to the public. Everybody can do it, and it's way more fun to be in the parade than it is to watch the parade. My name's Diane Arnold, and this is the Whirly Spinny Thingamajig. The theme was fantasy, but I didn't want to do something that was an identifiable fantasy, so it's more of a kinetic sculpture. Recycling is a big part of what we like to do. Everything that's here is donated, mostly. You know, it's all leftover stuff. People bring in lots of things that they think, oh, that's a cool thing, and you know, so definitely recycling. And bright and shiny Solstice is, you know, sparkle is always better, more is better. You'll see some things that are recycled year by year, but they don't, you can't do the same thing twice, you know. So if you build a float, it has to be disassembled and reassembled in something else the next year. And my husband and my friends, they pulled me up the street, and another girlfriend of mine helped me swing it. And just having all the people in the crowd, you know, wave and go, "That looks really cool," you know. That's the kind of thing that makes it very, very fun, you know. And it's a beautiful day, and now we're having a lovely time in the park. It's really cool. I'm already looking forward to next year, and I won't use the same pieces because you have to do something different. And all of you out there, I hope you come and do something too.
This is fantasy, and so this is a mythical creature that's, you know, from Celtic myths, maybe 1,000 years or more. So and this is a plywood coax cable covered with foam rendition of a Scottish water horse, otherwise known as the Kelpie. Some of you may kind of know it as like the Loch Ness Monster, but it's a much more whimsical version of it. And the idea behind this is somebody's going to, like me, sit inside of it in costume and cruise up State Street in it. So it's going to look like a kind of like a guy with a very large torso and small body. The rest of the way is going to be pushing it up the road. So that's it.
My name is Hannah Smith, and I'm working with my uncle Perry Hoffman on the epic Hindu Bhakti Shakti float for Solstice. I remember the first time I saw the Santa Barbara Solstice Parade, and it just blew my mind as a young girl, you know, and it's something that I grew up always like loving. Well, obviously, as you can see, this float just like vibrates with color, and it's a very just summery and just happy float, and we hope that when people see it, they'll be happy by, you know, just everything incorporated in it.
I'm a Santa Barbara artist, and I'm here with Perry Hoffman, who created Ganesha's throne over here, and we're all Hindu deities. So today I'm Krishna.
My name is Mariano Silva. I'm a Brazilian. I live in Santa Barbara over 10 years. And today is the first day of the summer in celebration of the Sostice Parade. It's an amazing event that Santa Barbara provides. And what every year I do for 10 years, I try to bring the Brazilian group, because Sostice Parade is an event, is a celebration that's open to everyone from everywhere. So for me, give me opportunity to express my culture among the Americans. So it's a great event, a great opportunity to get back to bring the flavor of my home to Santa Barbara.
Pescador, chega a tomar beleza.
My favorite moment is when I get to see all the floats coming up where they dock them at the end of the parade, because that's the only time I get to see all this stuff, all the people performing. It's the only time I get to see it all at one time. The last few years I've been in the parade, I've been toward the front, so I've been able to see everybody coming up behind me, which has been really cool. And that's my favorite moment, is to actually see the performance, because that's what this is. This is one big performance, all this effort, weeks of work, all this material for a 1-hour parade up the street. And by this time next week, all this stuff, for the most part, will be taken apart, packed into trailers. Some of it may be used next year, some of it disposed of, some of it recycled. So this is a really temporary thing. It's a performance more than anything else.
Paul did a giant oil derrick thing that squirted chocolate sauce over the audience. There was an absolute furor, but it was very, very fun. And then of course probably my son's, pieces, which always thrilled me. So
I remember the first time I saw the Santa Barbara Solstice Parade, and it just blew my mind as a young girl, and it's something that I grew up always loving.
My favorite Solstice Parade moment was a few years ago. A buddy of mine and I were doing back handsprings and cartwheels with a bunch of Brazilian booty shakers. It was cool.
I think it's every year, it's when the parade starts, right at noon. And we're all lined up, and it's just this joy. And when you go down State Street, people are just joyful, screaming and yelling and cheering. So that's a favorite moment.
I think it's almost the end, because we are really tired, and just we are waiting to have fun here at the parade, because we have a lot of fun during the parade, but after the parade it's better. So I really love doing that, and I invite people to come every year, every June, and it's for the Solstice Parade.
It's basically just a one long dancing session, and it's so much fun to see everyone's reactions, the little kids, the interaction of the crowd is the best part.
Yeah, all the kids came out at one point and were throwing the ball around and stuff, and they were part of the parade too. It was awesome.
One year I built a giant oil well, and we put George Bush on it. That was cool. And one year we built a Venus flytrap. We had a giant Venus flytrap, and we were all flies. And inside the Venus flytrap was a hot woman, and the flies would come out dead. That was pretty fun. So I've had a lot of good moments. And probably my best moment is my daughter joined me for 7 years. That was really cool. It was really cool to do this with my daughter. So that was neat.
I guess it's when the parade starts. That's when it all happens, because we're here for 6 weeks, hanging out with our great friends and having a good time, but the magic, if you will, starts when you hit State Street at noon and you entertain 100,000 people up State Street, and before you know it, you're at Mitchell Terrena and the parade's over, and it's amazing how quickly that can go, and you just go from one person to the other, engaging them and having fun, chasing kids, making people smile. It's really great.
I think one of my favorite moments is waiting to be pushed out onto State Street. It's very exciting. There's a lot of energy that's happening around you. People are all excited, and I just like the energy at that time. It's a really good, happy energy.
When you're doing something like this, it's really a performance, and you get really in a kind of an altered state. I mean, even now my voice has kind of gone from growling for like 2 hours, but I have to say, I had a good time, a really good time today as a monster, and I was with my daughter. And last year also was really great as a monkey. I have another daughter in Denmark, and she came and visited. And but I have to say, I kind of still remember one time as a mudhead. I was dressed entirely just in mud, with appropriate, undergarments, but still mud over my whole body, and then a giant mud mask. And it was just really fun to be sort of completely enigmatic and moving through the crowd with this. It's kind of a la the New Zealand Mudheads, so that was, I think, one of my favorites.
The fact that this is possible in Santa Barbara, that we can just dress up and have a great time, walk down the middle of State Street, it's just amazing.
My favorite part was walking, getting to see all the different types of people and just noticing how many tourists are back in town and just engaging.
It's been really fun. Spending time with my aunt, my sister, my mom. I love Santa Barbara.
Well, we're the Derp Squad. We were here last year, and this year we're making a giant rat, or a rat king, and it's going to be worshipped by a bunch of tiny little people who are going to be having props, kind of like this. Like
giant-sized, tiny things.
So people are going to have small objects but scaled way up, so they look very small by comparison. So it's just going to be a tiny person float, but should be a lot of fun.
I guess the float represents Santa Barbara Summer Solstice because this year's theme is fantasy, and being miniature people, tiny. We actually got inspiration from just messing around once, and we ended up creating something that looked like a giant match. And I think it represents the Santa Barbara Summer Solstice because it fits too well with the theme.
Creating the float is probably my favorite part, pushing it. I don't know, by the time it gets around to pushing the floats down State Street, everyone's pretty burnt out. Like, everyone's been working on these floats for months already, and they're just kind of ready to relax. I mean, people are here all day, every day, just kind of doing the same thing for a few months. It's kind of nice to have a reprieve again.
Come out and see the parade because it's once a year, and great people spend so many hours of their time working on these things and all these floats.
For you.
Yeah, for your entertainment.
My name is Paul Forster, and this is my 26th Solstice, more than a quarter century. And I'm with Diane Arnold, who's doing the whirling spinning thingamajig, and I made a little cart to go with that. It's my, I call it the kid messer with her, and it's designed to have a lot of fun with kids. It's designed to, like, hey kid, come here, I want to talk to you, and you know, you ugly kid, come over here. No, not you, the ugly one. You know, and so it's designed to mess around with kids and have a really good time with kids. And if the kids give me a hard time and they start messing with me, well, all right, kid, you better behave or you're gonna get it. And that kid over there, the bad kid over there, right? So if the kids don't behave, they're gonna get it. No, I just come down and join. Like, the more people that join in, the better. It's a fun thing to do. It's my 26th year, so join in. Come and make a float.
I'm Laura Smith, and my float is called the Wild Rumpus, and it is a tribute to Maurice Sendak, who is the author of Where the Wild Things Are. We are working on a sailboat with a sea monster and an island where there will be about 13 monster kids dressed as wild things, and grown-ups. There's 30 altogether, monsters who will be rumpusing, and I let all the kids come up with their own character. So each child came down with a little pencil drawing or crayon drawing of what kind of wild thing they would be if they were in that book. And and then we've made them into masks and costumes for them. This is a lot of the cast of characters, adults and kids alike, and they're fastened into bike helmets. Like, this one's my daughter's. She's going to be a bat creature. And so she just drew this, like, really tiny little pencil drawing on a piece of brown paper bag. And then we just worked with them, like, we started to make it. We sculpted out of clay and then paper mache over that and then scraped the clay out. And then we have a sea monster that turns its head and roars and blows smoke out its nostrils. So when you hear that during the parade, then smoke will come pouring out of these nostrils. I can't use all my CO2 down in the yard. I gotta save it for the workshop. But so it'll make that noise, and the smoke will come out, and the head will turn, and hopefully the crowd will all be really scared, and then go home where their dinner is waiting for them, still warm.
I'm Robbie Robbins. I'm on the board of directors for Summer Solstice. I also have participated in the parade for 6 years, and this year I'm doing Things with Wings. Well, this year was kind of wide open for everyone because we chose fantasy as a theme, and last year was jungle, which was great because there was a consistent theme, but it was kind of all jungle all the time. So we don't really have to represent Santa Barbara, but just the creativity that's going on in the place here is great. We're doing all big backpack puppets, so we're larger than life birds.
My name is Stacy Buffard, and I'm an artist in residence for Summer Solstice. This is my 8th year, and my primary responsibility is what we call our collection float. So where we go out into the audience and we collect money to support Solstice, because we are a nonprofit organization. My float this year is called the Tail of the Dragon, and it consists of Eloise the dragon, and we have the Flaming Pearl, and also our Dragon Master throne. We also have all the plates have been done by various disabled adult centers. We were all sent out to these centers in the community. They've decorated, all the plates are individually decorated, and that's how we scaled the dragon.
I think, and I have not lived in Santa Barbara that long. I came here from the desert via Northern California, the long way. And I think it celebrates Santa Barbara because it's something that the artist community has been doing for 30 years. And it celebrates the diversity that's here. I mean, you look around and you're seeing like the different people that are here, the different age groups. Some people here are professional artists. Some people are accountants, engineers. There's a big diversity here. And so it represents that.
Well, it's because it's sun and it's fun and it's color and it's very, very interactive and friendly and open to anybody who has the slightest artistic urge. You know, Santa Barbara, you can throw a rock and hit 4 artists. So, you know, this is like a playground for everyone to come.
Well, a lot of half-naked people running through the center of town.
I guess it allows for Santa Barbarians to truly release their creativity and show to the entire town what they're capable of.
Yeah, it is a pretty nice outlet.
It's a place where it's okay to be really weird.
I think it allows people to express their individuality and who they are, and you can see it through their art and their floats and how they dress and everything. Just celebration.
And I think it's like a good excuse to be free one day on the week, be out of the work and have fun with family and friends and people around.
It's just an amazing event. It warms me from the heart all the way out to my limbs. So.
Oh, well, let's all the creative, artistic people get together and make silly stuff and come and watch and join in. So it's really good for the artistic community. Like, it allows a lot of people musicians and artists and silly people, creative people, to get together and make stuff and perform stuff and be together. It's kind of an arts festival, really. I love being creative and being creative with other people. I think that's the most fun part and then the stuff with the crowd, like stuff happens that you did not know was going to happen. And I really enjoy that. Like, you don't know until the day of the parade, you don't know how the crowd's going to react or what they're going to say or do. So a lot of stuff happens that's really spontaneous and creative, and I love that. Solstice is about fun and silliness and a good time, and it just represents that.
This is a magical thing in that there's no symbols, no sponsorships on the float, there's no tractors pulling them up the street, there's no trucks or cars. It's all people powered and people built, and just having this creativity come out of people's minds and get three-dimensional is it's just fascinating to me. I moved here in 2006 and discovered Solstice, and I've done the parade ever since and been addicted to these giant puppets.
I think it celebrates the many, many artists that we have in this town. And it's just such an important thing that we actually have this opportunity to share with the community all the talent that's here in Santa Barbara, the people that, and these artists are sharing it with the whole community, and I think just a pretty wonderful thing.
It's all about art and fun and music and dancing. It's there's no animals involved, there's no politics involved, there's no words involved, there's no motorized vehicles, so everything has to be, human powered. And most everything is pretty much human powered, music, everything. It's this really fun, wonderful event. And we're just celebrating summer, we're celebrating life, we're celebrating art, everything.
What I like about this parade is all the floats are handmade. There's no commercialism going on here. And there's no motorized floats either, unlike the Fiesta Parade. This one's really artistic. We've always loved this parade. Always brought our 2 boys here to this parade. It's just fantastic.
I'm working with the parade, which is a community art event, so it is Santa Barbara. It is people in Santa Barbara, various diverse members of different communities who come together primarily to make something fun and to celebrate creativity. So, and we work with all kinds of weird materials, thrown off materials, recycled materials, reused materials. We store our materials over the year and our tools. And then everything is pushed by hand, which I feel actually really good about. It's all people powered, so it's completely green.
I just like the whole thing of doing the costumes, meeting all the people at the Solstice workshop, and all the people everyone I know there that works there is just really cool. And then the people that don't know anything, they've never been in before, and we try to get them to participate. It's really great.